Bill here. I'd like to show you my game against Tal, the former world chess champion. So Mikhail Tal was playing a simul against Australia. I was on the junior board. So Tal opened e4. I played the Sicilian. So we had a main line. Now I played the Pelican variation, which is relatively new at the time. So Tal followed the main line. So he's threatening. Knight d6 check, which would win the two bishops. So hence, I move my pawn. The bishop pinned the knight. I attacked his knight. Now there is a sideline here. So white could play the in-between move, bishop takes knight, because the queen can't take because of knight fork. Oops. And then the knight can retreat. And what would happen is black has two bishops but lots of open lines in compensation for the ragged pawn structure. So Tal didn't play that. So instead he retreated the knight. Now the main move here is b5, threatening to fork the knights and stopping white from moving to c4. However, in those days the book move was bishop e6. Tal played knight c4. I played rook c8. Now there's a line here where the bishop can take the knight, and if the queen takes, white will win this pawn. So I'll get queen takes. Okay, so queen takes bishop, knight takes pawn check, bishop takes knight, queen takes bishop, knight to d4, and black has enough compensation for the pawn. Okay, so that didn't happen. So instead, Tal played knight d5, which is a move I hadn't seen, but looked a bit risky. So I took it, which is a fairly sharp move. He took, I moved my knight. Now the pawn's under heavy attack here. Now he played queen d3, so allowing me to take the pawn. So I took the pawn. Now he castled. Now here I could have played a bit more aggressively. I could have played, for example, b5, which is the move suggested by Tal. Or another move I was thinking of during the game was queen c7. So that prevents white from playing bishop takes knight, knight takes bishop, knight takes pawn check, bishop takes knight, queen takes bishop because of mate. Okay, so they were two interesting moves. Now the move I played was, I was thinking I'm playing Tal, the master attacker, so I thought I'd be good to swap off and go for an endgame. But it was better in hindsight to play the move that gave me the strongest position. So I played a natural developing move. It has a drawback of giving back the pawn. They took the knight, I took the bishop, took the pawn at check. I swapped off, king e7. Now that the queens are off, I can bring my king to the centre. So I thought I was doing it right here, and I thought if careful play, I could draw fairly comfortably. So, but things started going awry. So he moved the rook back. I challenged rooks. He moved the bishop in the way. Now black's problem here is this. Is this weak pawn here? It's undefended, and the rook comes over. It'll be in a pin. So I didn't defend that very well. So what I did was I moved the rook to defend it, but my piece is starting to get awkward. He pinned the pawn. Now this is a very dubious move. Even though at the moment Eugenie says this is an equal position, it puts the rook on an awkward square where it can be attacked by a pawn later on. So the safer idea was to move this pawn and then move the knight to give this extra defence. So he hit the rook, though of course he can't take it yet, it's in the pawn's pinned. Now this is another dubious move because I'm putting the king on the line of his rook. Move the king up. Now I move my knight in. Now I'm threatening knight check, and then I'd be forking the king and the bishop. So he stopped that, he moved his king, and my piece is starting to look a bit awkward here. So I have to move the rook, so I move my rook to attack the pawn, and now it's interesting, I'm just looking at what Houdini says here. Houdini says g3 is a slight advantage to white, but Tal played bishop e4, which he says is equal. Okay, so I unpinned, still equal. He played c4. So Houdini says it's equal. In fact, it says minus 0.09. So Houdini's suggesting knight to f6. It's just been equal. So the idea is the knight goes. The knight goes to f6. Then I'll lose this pawn, but I'll win this pawn. So that leads to an equal position. But this is where I made a mistake. So played knight to b4, a3. Now I played a fairly serious mistake. So in this position, then he's giving white a slight edge. So the move of the day is rook takes pawn, and then after the bishop retreats and the knight moves somewhere, Houdini's found the bishop will win the rook, so black will have a centre pawn and knight for the exchange, so it is better for white. But after what I did, it was even worse. So I retreated the knight. Now the problem is I've got this trapped rook over here, so attack my other rook, and now problem is he's going to check me and play b4. So I move the rook, he just drove it away, and where do I go? So he's going to win a whole rook here after, if I don't take the bishop. So I took the bishop, so a clear exchange down here, so it's no good at all. So attack the rook wasn't a good move, because now he's threatening both the pawn and b4, trapping the rook. So I resigned. So yeah, I think played a few weak moves, playing perhaps trying to play for the win in that end game. So that's my game against Tal. So thank you for watching.